Hello everyone and welcome to Module 4, Select Nursing Models and Theories. I just wanted to provide you a little overview for this module that you'll be completing. And if you'll see there in the beginning overview that is written there for you, it says in this module, nurses can relate to new ways of thinking and introduce new and expanded ways of delivering health care with the use of conceptual models and theory focused on the systems approach. Throughout Module 4, the student will apply select nursing models and theories to the role and functions of the advanced practice nurse. The student will also explore the significance of theory-based nursing practice for the advanced practice nurse. So we're just moving it a step further than what we've been doing before. We've been exploring some different things. We just have completed the ways of knowing and looking at the phenomena of interest. And so we're just moving a little bit further along to where that we're looking at certain select nursing models and theories which you might find interesting throughout your exploration in this module and throughout your learning on here. So what you're going to see is that there's 2 assignments in this module. Your resources and things are laid out exactly like they have been in the other modules. You'll see that you have student learning outcomes here expressed for you. You have the learning activities and learning experiences laid out for you there, along with the 2 assignments that are listed. You'll see that there are some PowerPoints there for you from the book. There are a couple of really good resources under the resources to enhance learning. There's a link to a couple of websites which I think you'll find very informative for you. And then down here at the bottom, it lists the 2 assignments for you that you'll have. So let's talk about the first one that you'll be working through. This is the one that's entitled Models and Theories Focused on Nursing Goals and Functions. This one, a lot of you have mentioned Florence Nightingale in some of your writings and how that she was one of the first theorists that was identified in nursing. And so we're going to explore just a little bit deeper into that and look a little bit deeper into her and compare her with some of the other theorists in nursing. So we'll be looking at Florence, we'll be looking at Virginia Henderson and Dorothy Johnson and Nola Pender. Each of those, they viewed nursing from various perspectives, yet they fundamentally agreed on the concepts of interest to the nursing profession, and by that they influenced the evolution of nursing as a discipline and framing nursing knowledge. And so we're going to find out why that was. What was their common interest? What were their differences and things like that? So that's what this assignment is all about. First, there's actually 3 sections to this. First, you're going to compare and contrast the 4 theories of 1, Florence Nightingale, 2, Virginia Henderson, 3, Dorothy Johnson, and 4, Nola Pender, and you're going to demonstrate the connectiveness between theory, practice, and research. So what was their thoughts, each of them, between theory, practice, and research? You're going to explain how the development of these and other nursing theories have helped frame knowledge and shape the role of the advanced practice nurse. And then you're going to describe how the application of one or more of these theories could impact your practice as a future DNP graduate. And so this is going to be a scholarly write-up that you're going to do. It should be a minimum of 500 words, so be sure that when you open up your Word for your document that you be sure and make sure that in the word count in that it is a minimum of 500 words. And then you're going to use 3 peer-reviewed references to support your writing. And I know that you know this, but I will just say it again for you. Be sure that you are using scholarly resources to support your writing and your thoughts on there. Use few to no direct quotes. Part of, and I've told this to some of you, part of becoming a scholarly writer is that you are learning how to take what you're reading and paraphrase it and put it into your own words. That's part of your own scholarly writing and developing as a scholar. I'm not saying that you can't put a few small direct quotes, but in 500 words, or a minimum of 500 words, you don't want to have a great number of direct quotes because that's, very short writing. So what you'll see is that the way that it's divided out for each section that I mentioned before, the 3 sections, they each count 12.5 points. And then the last section, it's where you have the scholarly write-up showing the word count, the 3 peer-reviewed references, correct spelling, grammar, and sentence structure, and that you're formatting your citations and your references in APA format. There's not a requirement for a title page in this. I know some of you like to include a title page just for a cover, and if you want to do that, that is perfectly acceptable. And on any kind of writing, you should always have a paragraph, even if it's a short paragraph, where you introduce what you're going to be talking about, and then you should also have a short paragraph at the end where you just summarized what you talked about. So that's just all part of learning how to write scholarly, and it seems like with every assignment you all are getting a little stronger with that. The other thing is, be sure that you are editing before you submit to make sure that you're not having any errors in spelling or sentence structure, grammar, those kind of things before you submit. And that too, that you're looking back over your grading rubric to make sure that you've answered every section, that you've put it in the format that your instructor has asked for, and those kind of things. So I think this will be an interesting assignment for you, where you're looking at these 4 theorists who you have probably heard lots about, and I think some of you will find that you can identify very closely with them. And so as you're moving forward in the program and you're becoming more interested in a phenomena of interest and something that you have experience in that you might want to develop into your DNP project, I think you'll find that some of these theorists have a really have a lot to say that might be useful for you as you are building your thoughts toward a DNP project. So I think that's all that I wanted to say about that. So that's your first assignment in Module 4. So be sure that you look through your course calendar to see the due date of that. Then in Module 4 also, you'll have a scholarly assignment, and this is called the Systems Approach, Human Existence, and Universal Energy. So let me scroll on down for that. Okay, so it's going to be at the very bottom, and the assignment is attached there for you so you can look through it. And it's going to say that this has 3 components as well on here. And this is, you're just going to be looking through and reading about some other theorists that had different models, and they were used different approaches and things. So in the first section, that's worth 30 points, what you're going to be looking up is what are called your systems approach or systems model, systems perspective, and your 3 writers that you're going to be reading about that went from this framework, from the systems approach or perspective, is Roy's adaptation model, there's King's conceptual system, and there's Newman's systems model. And so as you're looking through your reading in your textbook, you're going to see that they write about all 3 of these that have this systems perspective. The next set of writers are going to be those that ascribe to the human existence and universal energy view. And that's Rogers' Science of Unitary Human Beings, Newman's Theory of Health as Expanding Consciousness, and Parse's Human Becoming. And so in your Butts chapters 19 and 20, you're going to need to read about those so that you can gain some new insights and perceptions about that. And then, of course, you can pull from your resources that are provided in the module here for you. And then, of course, you can do a scholarly search through the library database as well to find any kind of writings that might include them as a source for a theorist, or have some examples of something, or it may even be something they've written themselves. As far as the resources, it says that's the next component. It says, and it's worth 30 points as well. It says share a summary of resources that you have found that amplifies or enhances the readings, information, content related to the models or theories from the systems perspective, which is Roy, King, and Newman, or the human existence and universal energy viewpoint, Rogers, Newman, and Parse. And then the application section of it is last. The application section is last. And what you'll see there is it says share one or more examples of how you as the advanced practice nurse could apply the systems approach or the human existence universal energy view in your roles and functions as an APN to influence your theory-based advanced nursing practice. Okay, so let's review again. There's actually 3 components to this. There is one that's insights. It's worth 30 points. 2 is your resources, which it counts for 30 points. And then you have application, which is 30 points. And then 10 points is related to the formatting of it. Okay, so let's review more in detail. What it says down at the bottom for your guidelines and point application, it says you're going to provide 3 one-sentence bullet points that represent new understanding about each theory from the systems approach. That would be Roy, King, or Newman. So what I mean by that is when you look up through your reading and you find something that you find interesting, or something that provides new insight to you related to Roy, King, and Newman, you're going to write up a bullet point. And by bullet point, I mean, 1 to 2 sentences is what I'm talking about. And then just put your little citation there at the end of it that you find. So something that you've learned new about each one of them, and you can write it under that heading and put insight, component 1, insights, and you can list Roy, and you can put that bullet point, and you can put King and write that bullet point, and then you can do Newman and write that bullet point and just cite it at the end. And then you'll move on to your reading from human existence and universal energy viewpoints, and you'll do the same thing. You're going to do 1 bullet point for each one that provides new insights related to Rogers, Newman, and Parse. So you can provide more than 1 a piece, but you have to have a minimum of each. So if you do the minimum on this, you'll have 6 bullet points under insights where you're providing something new that you've learned about, or something interesting. It doesn't have to be something that you've never heard of or never knew, but something new in a 1 or 2 sentence bullet point format for each one of these theorists here. Okay, then in the next section is entitled Resources, and this is worth 30 points. And it says share 2 resources such as books, a scholarly article, or a website where you can find similar thoughts, ideas, or themes that will enhance knowledge of these models or theories from the systems perspective, and then from the human existence and universal